she's done it deliberately and very carefully. She's cunning as can be.
She did it on purpose. Archie and Lili have finally been unmasked as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle lie and say that this was a mistake. But trust me, this is all part of Meghan's sinister plan to commercialize her children, to pimp them out for financial gain. And I'm not being sucked in by it at all. So this Halloween video, actually, the first time it went up online, revealed Archie and Lili's face for the first time in 3 years. Can you believe that? It was the first time Lili's face has been fully shown since 2022, when an official portrait was released for her birthday. Archie has not been shown in a photo since the Sussex's Christmas card in 2021, although there was that picture of the two of them, which appeared in the architectural digest behind an image of Gloria Steinem. But as I say, Harry might be sucked in by this. Oh, it was just a mistake. But trust me, this is all part of Meghan's grand plan. Is it sinister? Yes. Is it creepy? Yes. Is the way that she's treating her children incredibly odd? Prisoners in a castle in Montecito? Yeah, it's all really weird and bizarre. But all I'm saying is that it is very much part of a plan. Now, Tom Sykes has said that this mistake could actually spell trouble for the Sussex brand, as cynics and conspiracy theorists will say the images were included on purpose. Well, I don't view myself as a cynic or a conspiracy theorist. I think I'm just a truth teller, to be honest. But here's his reporting. For a couple so famously vigilant about privacy, it is an extraordinary lapse. Over the weekend, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle briefly posted a video to social media showing the clearly visible if blurry faces of their children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, for the first time since they were infants. But within hours, the footage was scrubbed, a source confirmed to The Royalist. The Sussex social media operation, usually cautious to the point of paranoia when it comes to images of the children, moved at lightning speed to delete the entire second half of the video. But by then, the damage was done. Dozens of screenshots circulated on X and TikTok before the takedown was complete, leaving Meghan's communications team scrambling to contain a pumpkin patch privacy fiasco. One cynical publicist telling the Royalists it's all a bit too convenient. The clip gets attention, the internet explodes, and suddenly Meghan's brand rollout is on everyone's radar. Because yeah, we see you, Meghan. Today's the day. You're launching your crappy product, which I don't even give a damn about. For years, Harry and Meghan have maintained a blank space around their children's faces, allowing only carefully curated back-of-the-head glimpses and documentaries and family Christmas cards. But if you genuinely wish to keep your children out of the public eye, why include them in any promotional material at all, some might say? The question that hangs over the Sussex operation is less about how the slip happened than what it reveals. If privacy is paramount, it is reasonable to ask why their parents are posting images of Archie and Lilibet online in public forums. The episode will reignite a larger debate about the couple's uneasy relationship with fame, privacy, and the commercial exploitation of their own story. It also underscores a contradiction at the heart of the Sussex project. Meghan and Harry have made digital responsibility and child protection online one of their signature causes. They have denounced the toxic effects of social media on young minds and spoken movingly about the pressures it creates. Yet they remain active participants in the same ecosystem, courting engagement, curating content, and inevitably monetizing the clicks that come with it. The couple's Netflix projects, Spotify deals, and brand collaborations depend on maintaining visibility, even as their public rhetoric insists on distance. Their children, living private lives in a gated enclave above the Pacific, have become both the symbol of that boundary and, increasingly, its weak point. This is not the first time the Sussexes have flirted with visibility. The Harry and Meghan Netflix series included partial glimpses of Archie and Lilibet, and over the years they have been revealed in degrees. But the human mind fills in blanks. Followers have pieced together those fragments into an almost complete portrait. The result is that the children's appearance is no mystery. to Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, Prince Harry's biographer. Angela, do not tell me that this wasn't on purpose.
course not.
She knew exactly what she was doing here. Now, the question is, did she tell her stupid, hapless husband? Probably not. She knew what she was doing. She included their faces, Angela, because do you know what she's now going to say to her hapless husband? Oh, H, they're already out there. They're already out there, H. So of course I've got to use them to sell my clothes, to sell my wine, to sell my makeup, to sell whatever else comes next, probably children's clothing at some point. A very quick but personal message from me to you to let you know that the best way you can support Dan Wootton Outspoken is to subscribe to my Substack at www.outspoken.live. Substack is a free speech platform that protects me from big tech cancellation and lawfare. Paid annual or monthly subscribers get an extra hour of content with the Royal Uncancelled After Show available every weekday with no advertising whatsoever. You can also message me direct on there. That's www.outspoken.live.
Yes, you're saying exactly what I want to say, actually. I'm sure that she's done it deliberately and very carefully. She's cunning as can be. We've seen her being cunning in every aspect of life. And she's done this exactly so that she then can say to Harry, look, they've seen them now. People have seen them now. We better just let it go because she wants it for money. She's desperate for money. And if she uses the children, which I think is shocking, then she'll make a lot of money. And so she has to have them there. I mean, it is unbelievable, actually. The other thing I think is unbelievable is that when they went out, she had a thick jacket. And the boy had a thick jacket, and little Lilibet had something like a sort of thin pajamas, nothing warm on. And you think, how can you? No, later on it got warmer, but initially it was obviously cold. And her mother's wearing a thick jumper as well. She has her mother there. And it's just. They're just not looked after. Her hair wasn't brushed. It's just extraordinary, really. I can't look at that. That's really terrible mess. Why you do that with a child, I don't know. Just look at this. Look, both of them are wearing something warm, and she's not. And I don't understand why um, she's pulling a truck. It's heavy, but she's got rid of everybody who's working there because it was very packed apparently. And they decided they have to get all the people out the way because, for safety and for all that nonsense. So there they are with two little kids, bored stiff, I expect. But actually, much more important is that she's using them and she wants to do it in a cunning person's way.
Yes, totally agree. And I mean, you have to feel sorry for the little blighters with their very odd life, Angela, where they're not allowed to attend many events whatsoever because of their parents' apparent paranoia. But then Meghan will post them and pimp them out on Instagram. So they are missing out on so much, Angela, while
Yeah,
at the
I
same
mean,
time their mum uses them when it suits her.
yes. If somebody said to them about their family, oh, it's my grandmother's birthday today, or my uncles, or my aunts, or, my cousin, they haven't got anybody. Well, at least they've got them, but Meghan doesn't want to have them seen because they're making it their resentment for not having money for protection. That's it. I'm sure of it. You can't be nice and think, oh, what a terrible thing, poor woman. She's as ruthless as you could be. And that's it. They don't, I mean, I wonder why they think, well, they must be asking her by now. And a 6-year-old is definitely going to say, why don't I have a family, mummy? And you say, oh, you've got your grandma, but everybody's got lots more. No, they're floating there for her when she needs it. And she couldn't care less, really.
No, indeed. I mean, it was interesting, wasn't it? Stephanie Sidley pointed out Doria is back on the payroll, but added Meghan Markle is trying to overload our brains. Don't get distracted from what she did in Paris and where the hell are those ducks? And I do think that is a good point, Angela. A lot of this is about publicity and about flooding the zone, as I call it, because what she did in Paris was so truly despicable and disgusting, and she just wants us all to move on. According to Taz, also added, speaking about the children, what a lonely existence, even taking the kids to a pumpkin patch. They've clearly had it shut down just for them. There's no interaction of children running, playing, having fun. It's honestly creepy at this point, telling the kids to stand and turn their backs for photos. And then actually, Brittany of the Royal News Network isn't even convinced, Angela, that the relationship is back on track, writing, so if this pose is supposed to reflect a couple united, it fails pretty miserably. They could not be further apart, and they're also looking in different directions. The couple also made sure that there were no other peasants there to interfere with their pumpkin picking time. I mean, Angela, that's hardly a picture which shows love, even though I know that's what Meghan is hoping for us to believe. What did you think?
Well, of course not. He's got his head down. That's what he does when he feels very fed up. Otherwise, he'd be up and looking around, or looking at her, or looking at her son. It's straight down, which is very upsetting. I also think she might have said something to him just as they were going there. Why don't we just see if we could show a bit of a face? And he says, absolutely not. No, I should take no notice and do this later on. And he's had it, because he looks very upset. It's not a jolly thing to do. You've got a bit of colour, but it's not actually exciting, is it? No one else is there. You're just there picking up round orange balls, really. You see him trying to make a face out of it, but look, it's so sad. He's not with them. He's just sitting there very quietly. He's a very unhappy person all round now.
And of course,
can't get out of it anywhere.
Yeah, and you know him, Angela, so you sense it, you see it.
Yes.
Of course, all of this, Angela, is about this relaunch, this commercial relaunch, and she has somehow managed to win over Vogue magazine. I mean, it's incredible. They're now describing her, Angela, as a lifestyle mogul. And Charlotte Griffiths, who has been really doing a lot of the bidding for Harry and Meghan on the Mail, in the Mail over the past few weeks.
Mail on Sunday, usually. Yes.
Yeah, she appeared on Talk TV to sort of explain what all of this brand relaunch is about, while at the same time confirming that regardless of Meghan's protestations, With Love Meghan has actually been axed. So watch this, Angela, and I'll get you to react off the back. But first, as we get older, you notice it. After a cold, a hard workout, even a long week, recovery just isn't as quick as it used to be, right? That bounce back factor matters. And it turns out the secret isn't luck, it's stem cells, your body's built-in repair crew. With age, that system slows down. Fewer cells, weaker signals, slower recovery. That's exactly why Qualia created Qualia Stem Cell. Think of it this way. Your cells are powerful. Qualia Stem Cell helps keep them that way. It's crafted with nature's heavy lifters, sea buckthorn, royal jelly, and more to support your body's natural repair system so you can keep moving, healing, and thriving. You don't have to accept slowing down. This is about supporting better aging by reactivating the systems that help you bounce back. And it's refreshingly simple. You take it just 4 days a month. So if you've ever felt like your body just doesn't bounce back like it used to, whether it's after a tough workout, getting sick, or just the wear and tear of life, this is for you. Qualia Stem Cell was designed to support your body's natural repair systems, helping you heal, recover, and keep going strong. And right now, you can try it for up to 50% off at qualialife.com/Dan. And here's a bonus. Use the code Dan for an additional 15% off your order. So that's QUALIA life.com/Dan. Your body's built to repair itself. Qualia just helps it do it that better. And a big thanks, by the way, to Qualia for sponsoring this episode of Outspoken. But now, back to the show.
Be afraid, be very afraid. Meghan Markle has a major announcement to make.
Well, she's done this kind of teaser video on her Instagram that something is coming on October the 28th. And what I'm told is it's actually an advert for her holiday special, the Christmas special of her show with Love Meghan, and it will be the last episode. It's not going to get renewed. But what I revealed last week in last Sunday's Mail on Sunday was that she's also doing a makeup range, or that's the rumor anyway. And there's lots of clues and hints that she might be doing makeup. The most important clue of which is that there's big money in makeup. There isn't a lot of money in selling pots of jam, it's got to be said, but makeup, the markup is huge. It's mostly, the cost is just mostly just packaging and powder. And then, you know, if you're like Victoria Beckham, she charges £104 for her foundation. So what I'm told is that Meghan is definitely looking to pursue makeup as her next get rich quick scheme.
Yeah, she's a worse entrepreneur than Nick Leeson, isn't she?
She's not done well at all when it comes to making money. I mean, the wine isn't doing very well. The jams. The thing is about expensive jam is that you might buy it once and it comes in a nice big package, but are you going to buy it regularly? Once you bought some Meghan jam once, you've done it. I mean, that's it. It's a kind of, you're just not going to do it again. Whereas with makeup, you do buy, you know, if you find a product you really like, if you're a woman, you'll buy that mascara over and over again because it's the perfect mascara or the perfect foundation. But really, I think the novelty is worn off from that sort of moment, that sort of moment of hysteria that America had earlier in the year when they started buying all of Meghan's jams and pancake mixes. I mean, why not just go back to Tesco and get Bon Maman for half the price?
What a good idea. I might buy her Napa Valley Rosé wine, Charlotte, because that will help me to deal with the PTSD from watching With Love Meghan on Netflix. It's been great to see you.
But Angela,
I made a terrible mistake, didn't I? I made a terrible mistake. I saw there's a picture of a new wine that she's leaving up now, which has a very rude title with cigarettes next door. And I thought, my God, she's actually taking it even further than anything you can imagine. And you came up to me and says, no, it's just a game. They're just doing that. It was very funny. I apologize.
I mean, I don't even care about what she's launching now, because to me, Angela, what this feels like is it is the winding down of was never. That's what Lady Colin Campbell calls as ever, because it never really was a theme. And then clearly she's much more interested because Charlotte Griffiths, who gets all of the briefing from Harry's friends, it's like, oh, she's much more interested about the makeup. So this is sort of like the dying days of the Meghan Markle as Martha Stewart.
Also clothes. She's very keen on clothes now. When she was walking, sort of one, two, as if she was really done this many times. And she desperately wants to do that because then she feels that she's really glamorous. But she just looks awful in them. So, perhaps she wants to be like Princess Catherine, but she can't go anywhere near it. But she's cross about that. So, and Victoria, so she's trying to catch up with her. I think that's quite important in her daily routine, but she can't do anything like it. You can either look good in clothes or you don't look particularly good. And if you wear the wrong thing as well, you've had it.
Indeed. Yeah, I just think, I don't know, I think the whole brand messaging around her is so confused now, and I don't think she can pull it back. I don't think she's a high fashion lady, but let's see. Angela, sorry, you go.
Don't you think she's doing things that are a bit political now? I mean, she's decided she and Harry are going to go to Los Angeles and talk to girls about how they can deal with fire. They think it's very important. She's doing all these things that there's the AL and you've got to be very careful not to use that. I mean, she's coming out of the things that actually might suit her and coming into those that she knows absolutely zero about, but will give her some sort of grandiose feeling.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. It's very her. Angela, quite a lot of fears for King Charles because of a couple of things that happened yesterday. So first, we saw him unveiling this LGBT memorial for soldiers in the United Kingdom. And he had his hand and his head, and he's just looking so unwell. Angela, he is looking so unwell. It was, I know it's the elephant in the room and no one in the mainstream media is prepared to talk about it, but I mean, look, Angela, it's quite heartbreaking to see.
He's had a
And
very busy week, hasn't he? Very, very busy and emotional week.
yeah, because of course he's just back from Rome, and as we're going to talk about later, he was meant to be going to see Prince Andrew, and he didn't. But I don't know. Things are not good. Things are not good for the health of the king. And then, of course, later in the day, Angela, and I think what scumbags Republic are, because, you've got a man who is already battling serious cancer, and because they wanted this social media moment, they decided to ambush him to launch or relaunch their Abolish the Monarchy campaign. Have a look at what happened, Angela.
How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew's Charles? What do you think? Should the MPs be allowed to debate the royals in the House of Commons? How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew's Charles? What do you think? Should the MPs be allowed to debate the royals in the House of Commons? Debate the royals in the House of Commons. How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew's Charles?
And Shooter Scoop is reporting today that King Charles is terrified the mob have turned on him. He writes, the king is cracking under pressure, and palace insiders fear it's only going to get worse. Charles has been left shaken after being publicly heckled about Prince Andrew's ties to Jeffrey Epstein, a humiliation royal aides are calling the moment the mob turned. He's terrified this is just the beginning, whispers one senior courtier. For decades, people shouted, God save the king. Now they're shouting about Andrew and no one's stopping them. The outburst caught on camera during a walkabout outside Lichfield Cathedral saw Charles accused of covering up for his disgraced brother. Though the monarch kept his composure, sources say he was furious and deeply rattled once back inside. The heckling pierced the royal bubble, said one insider. Charles has spent his entire life preparing to be king, not to be heckled in the streets like a politician. With Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoir reigniting the Epstein scandal and public anger growing, palace insiders are bracing for impact. Charles can handle criticism, the source adds, but this isn't criticism anymore. It's revolt. Angela,
Yes.
your reaction?
Yes, there were thousands of people there, so there were a lot of people who wanted to be there to see him, but there was also an anti-monarchy group. It's not as bad as it seems, I think, because they like to go if there's something happening, coronation, they were in a corner for that. This time they couldn't work out who was and who wasn't until they started screaming. So that's what they were doing. I think you saw that a bit further in front, a woman was telling him to shut up and get out of it, and very angry. And a lot of people were talking to them to just, go away. It was a wonderful opportunity for the anti-monarchy people. But I do think that it's very hard on him at the moment because there's so much going on, plus his illness, that it's very difficult. But he did have a wonderful day in the Vatican. And I think that would feel him, make him feel much better, and particularly spiritually, which is very important for him.
Angela, there is a lot of fury, though, about Charles deciding to use the Sunday Times over the weekend to lay the blame at the foot of Queen Elizabeth II in terms of the scandal. Now, I'm not happy about that, Angela. I'm really not. So this is how Roy Anika revealed it on X. Queen Elizabeth left an unexploded bomb for the king with Prince Andrew, and Charles is paying the price as the scandal engulfs the monarchy. And The headline was Andrew was the Queen's weak spot. King Charles is paying the price. And she quoted a source who knows the royal family. But come on, Angela, we know her sources are very, very close to the king and to Buckingham Palace. And the source said, it seems to me that Queen Elizabeth has quite a lot to answer for. It's as if she left an unexploded bomb for Charles. The thing about the Queen was that everyone always said she was so dutiful, and she was, but this was a terrible dereliction of duty. She indulged Andrew all the time and always avoided confrontation. Another royal source who knew the late Queen well said it wasn't just Andrew, it was all the family trouble. She just didn't want to engage. She was like an ostrich with her head in the sand, but I don't think any of the family knew the full extent of what would come out. Now, I'm sorry, a couple of things from my point of view here, Angela. I mean, this was a woman in her 90s. She wasn't an ostrich. She was battling very, very serious cancer. But she did take the appropriate action on both Prince Harry and Prince Andrew. And it was after the late Queen's death that the king tried to bring both of those men back into the fold somewhat. So with Andrew, it was giving him a prominent role after his mother's death, for example. It was allowing him to attend these family events. This is just desperation for me. I don't like it at all. I don't like it.
No, I don't like it really, but you have to remember that she just took away the HRH and said you can't be going round again doing any helping with any people. Forget it. But she didn't know for a moment what was really going to happen, and none of us did. It was just appalling for her, and she did adore him, and she knew that her late husband adored him, and she didn't want to tell him off. She just couldn't, because she thought he was a wonderful man, and these things were, just difficult. I mean, his wife used to say this, ex-wife, he said, the Duke is a man who does not know how to tell an untruth or behave dishonorably. Now, come on. If you hear this and you're an older woman and you know that his wife, who trusted her for years, and Sarah said to her nicely, oh, ma'am, said a sentence like that, you want to know that sentence and you can grab it. And it's wrong to do that. What I do think is wrong is that it was much more sharp and aggressive in the Sunday Times about the Queen and the King now. And I think that it was very unfair, but she didn't do quite enough to enable more things to happen a bit later. I think that the King didn't want to upset his mother, who had passed away, because he knew that she would hate that, because she did love him enormously and she was very proud of him, and she didn't want to attack him. So I think the King, when he was in the Vatican, he was very careful about what he said. I know he was going to talk about his problems, and absolutely a good place to do it. But it's very hard to know how to manage something like that. He doesn't want to be aggressive, but on the other hand, every day the news got worse and worse and worse. But if people are telling you a load of rubbish about how this person is wonderful when they're doing a lot of rubbish themselves, I mean, it just gets into a huge mess. And I just hope it settles down a bit, and that they can not actually just take all the wrongdoing and throw it at the King, but that things do happen now. And I think he's going to be very strong, because he's had enough. And with William has had enough as well. And I think if they work together, they can do something about it. But it's just very difficult when you're out in the streets and someone's screaming and shouting at you, not necessarily for what had happened, but because they don't like the monarchy anyway, and they want to get rid of it, and they want some useless person to come in and take over, and the whole country would be even worse than it's now.
Of course, and there's a whole load of political stuff going on, and I do have sympathy for Charles on that, but what I don't have sympathy for is him going for the memory of his late mother. Not a good strategy. It's not going to work either, so I just would stay away from that. It didn't work at all.
But he did love his mother.
Of
He
course.
does love. He's always loved
Of course,
his
but
mother.
that's why he should be saying to his aides who are clinging to this as some desperate, measure. No. You don't trample over the memory of Queen Elizabeth II.
Yeah, but they don't all listen to him.
No, that is true. That is true. Angela Levin, do stand by because we're going to move over to Substack now for the uncancelled after show part 2, where there is a major threat from Prince William to Beatrice and Eugenie as Fergie, Sarah Ferguson, goes into full-on meltdown. So if you want the full story behind this, come and join us at Substack. www.outspoken.live is the address. Paid monthly and annual subscribers get first access to our Royal Uncancelled After Show Monday to Friday on Substack. You can watch with no advertising whatsoever. I know a lot of people love that. And you get it live or on demand. So please come and join the party. Substack is such an important free speech platform for me. It protects me from big tech cancellation and lawfare. And the best way you can possibly support the work that I do with Outspoken is by subscribing on Substack. www.outspoken.live is the address. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.